When I started Your Mind, My Mind, I always started it with the purpose of bringing an understanding through creative means. I'm grateful for the poems and prose that I have uploaded, and I really do hope that it served this purpose. But this project means so much more to me, and I ask that you walk this journey with me. The project of reviving my late grandfather's writings has brought me so much more than I ever thought it would. Antonio Ottavini was born in Italy in 1937 and passed away before I could even meet him in 1995. Despite never meeting him, I have this connection towards him. My grandmother always tells me about our similar qualities, our birthmark in the exact same place, our obsession for stationery and adoration for writing. So after a few months of having his poems and letters in my possession, I decided it was time to translate these very Italian poems and letters to see what they entailed. And I was in awe. I had no idea that his writings would be so incredible. The process of translating these poems was frustrating. The heavy old Italian he used, even Marta, my grandmother, and Ugo, his best friend, couldn't understand many of the words he used. But the process was so worth it. These translated poems and letters brought smiles, tears, and most importantly, understanding to my family. And of course, there was the uncovering of 1,000,000 photos that his sister, Franca Paola, took. His photos themselves told a story, and I wish people still took photos like that. Some were dated and some weren't, but somehow we could match many of the photos to the writings of Antonio. These photos encompass the story of a young Antonio living in Italy in the 1950s, what he was feeling and what he was going through. I said the most important thing that these writings brought was an understanding, and I really do mean that. For the first time, my father could understand the sufferings of his father, and this brought an understanding of the way his father was. My grandmother, with tears in her eyes, could understand what her long-lost lover had gone through, and I could see this brought her a comfort. For me, I never met him, but it brought me understanding in so many different ways. For the first time, I understood my history, where my love for writing came from, what loss can look and feel like, what young men during that time were going through, and what society can make us feel. It brought me so much more than that. So this is why I ask you to join me in this journey and read these revived poems, because these stories are still relevant to today. I'm doing this not only in dedication of my grandfather, Antonio Ottavini, for the young Antonio that never got to share his feelings and stories, but I am also doing this for anyone else who never and may never get to share their feelings and stories too, because they deserve to be heard.